Hello and welcome to Under the Lights, the boxing talk show brought to you by Sportology TV with myself, Ali Drew. On the last episode, we were joined by former British and European champion John Murray. So if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you check out that episode. He was talking about the importance of retired boxers getting some mental health support, which he feels is lacking at the moment. But on this week's episode, we are joined by the self-proclaimed worst boxer in Britain. Delighted to be joined by Robin Deakin. Robin, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. You all right?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. So before we get started talking about your career in boxing, obviously you're retired now. So how's life at the moment? What are you up to?
Well, I've only literally just retired. I mean, from glove boxing, I retired. Well, I hadn't really, but since 2012, really. But then I had like 3 fights and different licenses that obviously I got the win. And then I flew out to Spain and had 2 other fights. But then I sort of like retired a few years ago from that in 2015, I think. And then I went into bare knuckle. So I had a few fights in bare knuckle. But I'm done with that now, and just working a normal job. You know what I mean? Just doing my thing. I've had the limelight, and now it's just getting back to normality. You know, so it's good.
How have you found the last year? Obviously, it's been difficult for everyone in sort of every industry, but how have you found the lockdowns and as your work been continuing?
Yeah, I've been working all through. To be fair, I moved to Wales. I'm in Wales. Moved in with my partner. So yeah, no, it's good work up here. I mean, I'm a butcher by trade anyway, a bit like Rocky. So yeah, I moved up here and I'm just working in like a supermarket in Wales. It's called Philco. It's run by a family business. You know, it's a big company. So yeah, I'm just happy, normality, normal people, and they will treat you the same. Really, it's nice. You know, I'm not rocking Robin the boxer where everyone loved, but you know, not everyone, but most. I'm just Robin Deakin.
Yeah, because obviously in the intro I said, you know, self-proclaimed Britain's worst boxer. That title, you know, you almost, I think you almost enjoyed that title. You know,
Oh, of course, I do enjoy it now. It's mad because I get recognised in Wales. You know, are you Britain's worst boxer, Robin Deakin? I'm like, yeah. You know, it is quite mad because when I first moved to Wales, my partner was quite shocked to how recognised I was. I mean, as soon as I moved to Wales, I mean Wales Online, they were, because I was due to fight in bare knuckle. They said, "Oh, we want to do a piece on you. Can we come over and do some photos?" And I said, "Yeah." I have to double check because it's not my house. And yeah, she was quite shocked. I mean, you can either be the best at something or the worst. You never remember for being mediocre. If you like, I'm very infamous for what I've done. You know, the press pick up on everything I do. I mean, I've called KSI out, I've called Justin Bieber out, and they pick up on it because I'm Britain's worst boxer. If you like, Eddie the Eagle of boxing. So I wasn't that bad. I was okay. I just love a row and love a fight, and you know, if anyone's willing to get in there, I was, you know. So yeah, I've enjoyed the hype, the limelight, the fame. You know, I've got a lot of stuff off of it, of being Britain's worst boxer. You know, so yeah, I think I've done good in sort of self-proclaiming myself the worst. So,
yeah, because
but I'm not that bad, Ali. Promise.
actually you were a journeyman, really. You know, that's
Yeah, I was, but as a when I first turned pro, listen, there's a big hype about me. Honestly, to speak to most boxers, Danny Cassius, Connor, and people like that, you know, that you know, I was really big. I was scouted by Steve Collins, and taken to Frank Warren. Steve Collins promised to keep in touch. I didn't believe him. after fighting in Jersey, going to Cyprus, getting a bronze medal in the Limassol Cup. Steve Collins said, "I'll get you a deal with Frank Warren." I thought, yeah, he waffle shit. Like, literally, I just thought, yeah, well, whatever. 6 months later, I come back from Limassol, and yeah, I got offered Frank Warren signed me on a 3-year deal, and yeah, I was actually signed by Frank Warren. Won my first fight, and then I lost my second fight, and after that, I thought, can I swear or not?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
I thought, fuck it, I'll just do my own thing. So I lost my second fight, lost by a point. Bob Williams is a referee. He's always hated me anyway. He's from Watford. He's a din, like proper div. Yeah, he give the decision to the other person. After that, I thought, do you know what? I'll do my own thing now. Phoned Frank Warren and said, give me my contract back. In actual fact, it was Dean Powell who sadly passed. I phoned Dean Powell and said, Dean, I want my contract back. I'll go my own way. And he said, okay, no problem. So I started just taking fights here, there, everywhere. Fighting the best, if you like. Ricky Owen, who was undefeated. Vinny Mitchell, Kevin Mitchell's little brother, sadly passed. Ended up having 2 fights with him. And to be fair, I sort of thank Vinny Mitchell really for making me infamous, because it was that fight that made everyone speak and talk, because I put Vinny Mitchell on his bum, and we had a good tear up, and you know, I sort of thought I could do this and just be the worst boxer and make something out of it, and I think I've done that, you know. So
just
yeah.
talk about the sort of the mentality behind. I think you had the longest sort of losing streak. I think it was 51 fights.
9 years. It was crazy.
What's the sort of mentality behind that? You know, the sort of motivation to get in the ring and keep training and keep it going.
I didn't train. That is the thing. I didn't train. I used to work full time. I mean, when I wasn't working, I was boxing. When I wasn't boxing, I was working. So I was a butcher. I'm a butcher by trade. And that's what I've just done now. I've just finished now. But yeah, I never really trained. I mean, I used to fight. I had 19 fights in 24 weeks. That's 19 fights in 6 months. It's not against Dinlows. They're against proper, like, good fighters. Stephen Smith, Anthony Crawler, Patrick Highland, Eddie Highland, Ricky Owen, Vinny Mitchell. You know, I boxed all the big names. I mean, but I wasn't really getting stopped, and the reason I was getting stopped is because my body was so drained and I was so tired. I never really got hurt. The only one that ever really hurt me was Stephen Smith. Yeah, Stephen Smith hurt me. He could whack a little bit. But other than that, they were fucking sausages, you know what I mean? So it didn't really bother me. Crawler could punch, to be fair. But other than that, and Ricky Owen was tough. But other than that, nah, didn't bother me. I never, at the time I was sort of self-managed, managed by Mickey Elliott, and before that, Graham L. They used to phone me up and say, "Do you want to fight?" I'd be like, "When?" I didn't even care who. I said, "When?" They said, "Tomorrow." I'd be like, "Yeah, sweet." So I finished work and then go and fight. It's just normality for me to get beat up every weekend, you know. It was okay. It was cool.
And then obviously you had your license taken off you then. Just talk to me about that, you know, when that happened, because obviously, you know, no one, you didn't then get to choose when you left the sport.
No, this is the thing. I got my license taken after I boxed a guy called Ryan Taylor. Now, I don't know if you watched the fight at all, Ali. If you've been on YouTube to watch it, but I dropped him hard. I mean, he dropped me and he ended up breaking my rib. But I wanted to continue. I didn't like. I got stopped standing on my feet, and the ref, Bob Williams, again, didn't know. Just sort of fight, and I said, "Why? I'm fine. Like, I can carry on." And and he said no, he stopped the fight. And when I got my license taken away, it done me. I felt so depressed. You know, I had nothing. I lost my job. Just through depression, really, losing my house. I had nothing, so that changed me. And then I ended up going getting a Maltese license, which then I won my fight, and then I flew out to Spain on my own, no trainer, nothing, just went and boxed out there, and ended up losing the last two fights, and then just called it a day. You know what I mean? So,
and then
but
the move to the sort of bare knuckle boxing side of it was the sort of mentality behind that to go in and sort of do your
depression.
Was it to?
No, I was depressed, if I'm honest. I didn't want to be here. I wanted to, if you like, you know, I hope people don't get offended by this, but I didn't want to be here. I wanted to kill myself, if you like, and that was what I never. I trained, did my little thing, did because I knew it was dangerous. So I thought I needed to protect myself a little bit. But if something happens to me, then it happens to me. Do you know what I mean? And I can't. I didn't want to be here, so I didn't want to go and kill myself because cowards kill themselves, and I didn't want to be known as a coward. So maybe I thought my way of doing whatever I did, do it in the ring. Although it sounds bad, like putting the fault on someone else, but I just, you know, that was never me. To be fair, I mean, I love a row, I love a fight. I don't care who it is, anyone. But I wasn't really in a good place, to be fair. You know, since losing my license, obviously boxing's been my whole life. Helped me with my disability, helped me overcome adversity, made me be confident in myself, you know. And when I lost that, I felt I wasn't going to be accepted because people don't look at you and say, "How are you, Robin? How are you? How are you feeling?" It's always, "Oh, how are you, Robin? How you doing? How's the boxing?" Always, "How's the boxing?" It's never, "How are you?" You know. It's just so yeah. I was very, very depressed, and I didn't know how to come to terms with the fact of losing my license and not being accepted. And then, it is what it is, isn't it?
Do you feel like since you've sort of stopped doing the bare knuckle stuff, do you feel like you're in a better place now? Like you stopped it because you felt like you were getting into a better place?
A lot happier. Listen, I feel accepted. I've met my partner, and she didn't want me to fight, and I was like, "What do you mean you don't want me to fight?" Like most of the girls, I say, not women, girls, because these are Dinlo girls that want to be famous and want all the attention and whatever. I had a lot of fame, infamous around me. So whatever I do, the press would pick up on it and put it in the paper. And the women loved that. Social media loved that. And I had a lot of fake people around me and whatever. But when I met her, I felt accepted, and I felt she wanted me for me, not for the infamous Robin Deakin or rocking Robin Deakin. She wanted the Robin Deakin. So I felt, yeah, I want this. So I thought I'll just go back to work, do my thing, and be happy. And listen, I love life now, and hate boxing. Shit. Sorry.
You've fallen out of love with boxing now.
I fell out of love with boxing a long time ago. I fell out of love with it after losing to Vinnie Mitchell because I trained really hard for that fight. The first fight I had with him, I had two. The first fight I had with him, I trained really hard. And it knocked my confidence, not getting a decision, because God bless him, he's probably looking down and agrees with me, you know what I mean? I thought I won the first fight. And when I didn't get the decision, I thought, what can I do to fucking win? Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone's all against me. So I thought I couldn't do nothing to win. So that's when after that I thought, sorry, I'm not gonna train. What's the point in training if I'm not gonna get the decision? So I thought, nah, sorry, I'll just I'll just do my own thing, and went in every week and got beat up.
Do you watch boxing now? Do you ever watch boxing shows?
Listen, as soon as there's a couple of fighters that I like. Mark Jeffers, who trains out of Michael Jennings' gym. Very good lad. I've seen him come through actually. I train with Michael Jennings, and Michael Jennings is probably like one of my closest friends, as well as Ross Minter and Billy Joe. They're the three I speak to the most. I always speak to Billy Joe, but as soon as Billy Joe and Tyson Fury are finished with boxing, they're the only ones I'm interested in, because they're like, they don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? They just do their own thing, and it's nice to sort of have people out there that ain't yes men. You know, the most important boxers are yes men, and you know they're not characters. They're boring. You know, but Tyson Fury and Billy Joe, they got more character than Donald Duck. Do you know what I mean? It's, you know, they're quality people, and like I say, Billy Joe, he's a good friend of mine. I always speak to Billy Joe on the phone. He always got time for Britain's worst boxer, even though he's one of the best out there, you know, or is the best out there, you know. So, yeah, no, I'm blessed to have met everyone in boxing. They're wicked, but I hate boxing. Shit.
Will you be watching Billy Joe against Canelo?
Of course I will, yeah. Of course I will. He's a legend, Billy. He's just different level. There's people like Billy Joe, and then there's Robin Deakin, and he's just there, isn't he?
If you could rewind and go back to the sort of beginning when you first got into boxing, knowing what you know now, would you have still done it? Would you still have got into boxing and become a boxer?
I would have still done it, yeah, because I did it my way, which is why I'm infamous. If you know, I did it my way. Would I have trusted the people I did? No. I won't name name. It's not really my place to. You know what I mean? It's not really nice. But yeah, no. I'd have still done it the way I did it, because I was an Olympic medalist. I knew I'd never. Listen, if you're not an Olympic medalist, don't be going into boxing, because you're not going to make it. You're not going to make these million pounds like Billy Joe is and Tyson Fury is, because if you're boring and you're not an Olympic medalist, then you're going nowhere. Don't even start boxing.
Is that what advice, if you were to give advice to a young person wanting to get into boxing, would you be?
If you box for England and you win a medal in say the Commonwealth Games, or in the Commonwealth Games, you've got a bit of a chance. But you have to be, I'd say, an Olympic medalist, because straight away you're a millionaire. Straight away you're going to get contracts and people throwing themselves at you for you to wear their stuff, the logos and stuff like that. It's a bit like, I'm not going to say what I want to say, but it's a bit like Conor Benn. He's got his dad, Nigel Benn, who made the name. So Conor Benn's been charged forward into the mainstream because of his dad, not because of him, but because of his dad. You look at his younger brother or older brother, whoever he is, Harley Benn. He's already lost. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's forgot about Harley Benn. Probably you didn't even know about Harley Benn or whatever, but Harley Benn's his brother, and it was like, he's going nowhere. Why? Because he wasn't close with his brother at the time. Conor is obviously the main person. Do you know what I mean? So he's gonna make it. Of course he is, because he's got his dad's backing. So yeah, that's it really.
I think that boxing is one of the sort of hardest industries to get into. It's obviously, it's not an easy life. You're getting beaten up and punched in the face for a living. But it is seen as glamorous, and there's a lot of kids who want to become boxers. But would you say that it's actually probably one of the hardest industries to get into mentally, because of that, as you say, it's hard to make it?
You won't make it unless you're an Olympic medalist or got more front and than Brighton Beach. Do you know what I mean? And you know, he got more fun than Brighton Beach, like Tyson Fury. He's different level. The geezer's like, he's the modern day Muhammad Ali, and the way he speaks, the way he comes across, he's just different level. You know what I mean? They say gypsies are stupid. They're very, very clever people, and Billy Joe and Tyson Fury have proved that. So, like I say, if you're a boring fighter and you're not an Olympic medalist, don't bother getting into boxing. It's the hardest sport, and the only reason I did it was because I had a disability and I was getting picked on at school. That was the only reason I did it. I did it to prove to people that don't matter how you're born, if you want to do something, you can do it. And I proved that, and that was what I wanted to prove. So either way, I'm a world champion either way, because they said I'd never walk. I didn't walk till I was 7, so I did what I had to do to get by, and that's what I did.
And before we finish, I just want to sort of ask you how you would like to be remembered in the sort of boxing world. When people say, you know, they say rocking Robin Deakin, but when they talk about Robin Deakin, what do you want them to remember you by?
Listen, in 20 years' time, who are you going to remember? Britain's worst boxer who made history for having the longest losing streak in professional boxing? Or you're going to remember someone like Curtis Woodhouse, who was a overhyped footballer that never made it in football and got lucky and become British champion? That's trying to make himself, like, this is a funny thing, he tried making himself noticed by calling my name out in bare knuckle to do bare knuckle. I said, yeah, let's go. And he was like, well, I've just got a manager's job at a football club now, so I can't do it. It's all under contract, blah, blah, blah. He bottled it. So when people remember me, they're going to remember me as Britain's worst boxer, which I don't care. I promote myself as Britain's worst boxer, and I get perks for being Britain's worst boxer. I got my hair transplant for free. You know what I mean? I flew out to Turkey and got my hair transplant for free because I was going bald. So I get my perks. So people remember. I don't care how they remember me. If they remember me or not, or if they do, it don't bother me. But probably Britain's worst boxer. You know what I mean? It is what it is, Ali. You know.
Robin, thank you so much for chatting to me. It's been great talking to you, and good luck with everything for the normal life.
Normal life, and yeah, I'm gonna make a success of this one, I think.
Perfect. Lovely to chat to you. Great to be joined there by the self-proclaimed Britain's worst boxer, Robin Deakin. But guys, stay tuned because we have lots more lined up for the show. Please do what you can to support us. Subscribe, like, share, comment, whatever you can. We do appreciate it. And we will see you next time.